World War II was won not only through the bravery of soldiers, but through the help of the American public. This was an example of total warfare because everyone was involved, including women, children, the media, and governmental support. Soldiers were drafted into the military at age 18 and sent off to different parts of the world to fight. They had to put their dreams and aspirations on hold to serve a greater purpose. After an extensive search in the military archives, we were able to present classified footage of the war. We could not release his identity, but a war hero recalls what it was like to be taken away from his family and placed in the thick of battle.
I was only 18 when I was drafted into the Army, fresh out of high school and ready to take on the world. We had such a fighting spirit then, after Pearl Harbor. I felt like someone had attacked my home and I needed to defend it. The training process was very quick, but brutal. The Army wanted as many men stationed overseas as they could get, and as quickly as possible. We would run for miles and exert ourselves to the point of exhaustion, trying to get fit enough before we were shipped off. A buddy of mine was shipped off to fight on D-Day. He died right on the sand in Normandy. I was stationed in the Philippines to fight against the Japanese. Guns blazed at night and daytime, and sometimes it was hard to tell who the civilians were and who the Japanese were. It was muddy and miserable. We never got any rest. The medics tried their best, but we lost more men than we could bring in. It was horrifying. It still keeps me up at night.
Women went to work to support the economy while the men were away. Women worked in factories to help manufacture materials that could help benefit the soldiers overseas. They were able to take over their domestic duties and the duties of the men who had gone abroad.
My husband and son both served in the military during World War II. When they were away, I spent all my time in the factories working on the manufacturing of different artillery materials. I would get up and make sure the children were fed and on their way to school before heading to the factory to work long hours. In the evening, I took on the domestic duties and cleaned the house and looked after the children. I loved working in the factories though because I felt like I had a purpose away from the home. I think that World War II definitely helped push for a woman's place in the workforce.
It gave them a new sense of social freedom to be working in factories and helping out with the war effort. Women helped to sell war bonds and pose as nurses to help wounded war veterans. World War II, while devastating in casualties, helped women gain a foothold in the working class of American society. The war could not have been won without the support of the government backing the troops and the home front war efforts. FDR even went so far as to give American troops a personal message before they were shipped off.
You are a soldier of the United States Army. You have embarked for distant places where the war is being fought. Upon the outcome depends the freedom of your lives, the freedom of the lives of those you love, your fellow citizens, your people. Never were the enemies of freedom more tyrannical, more arrogant, more brutal. Yours is a God-fearing, proud, courageous people, which throughout its history has put its freedom under God before all other purposes. We who stay at home have our duties to perform, duties owed in many parts to you. You will be supported by the whole force and power of this nation. The victory we will win will be the victory of all the people, common to them all. You bear with you the hope, the confidence, the gratitude, and the prayers of your family, your fellow citizens, and your president.
On the home front, the media formed propaganda that was used to push Americans to help out with the war in any way they could. The propaganda portrayed Hitler and the Nazi army as the greatest evil known to man, an evil that needed to be stopped at any cost. It promoted the selling of war bonds that would help to fund military efforts overseas and persuaded women to go out and find jobs, such as nursing or factory work. Many propaganda posters warned against the sharing of military secrets and plans, placing the responsibility of keeping quiet on the American people. Comic books took on the role of having superheroes fight against the menace of the Germans and Japanese armies, allowing children to read an artist's rendition of war events.
Disney even got in on the war effort by making short cartoon films for families to watch together. The films showed in child-friendly fashion the evils of the Nazi Party.
There was an unprecedented support on the home front and acts of valor on the battlefield, which showed the dedication of the soldiers in defending their country. World War II is different from any war for many different reasons. The war could not have been won without the total support from the American people.